Today I'm going to be trying to make the most compact thrill coaster that I can. Now I know there's a lot of different coaster manufacturers that try to make compact coasters, so I've chosen Gerstlauer because I thought they'd be quite a good option. Just think like their smaller default Eurofighter models, or models like SAW, or especially the Smiler, they normally try and fit in as much kind of exciting stuff as possible in such a small layout, so that's what I'm going to go for today. We're going to do a Gerstlauer Eurofighter, and I'm going to try and make the most compact coaster I can. So let's get into it. I think I'm going to start off typical kind of modern Gerstlauer, and we're going to do an inversion out of the station because, I mean, why wouldn't you? I'm going to basically build it with this thicker lattice track, I don't know what you call it, because you can have the banking offset on it, but then I'm going to convert it into that afterwards. There we go, so it's done its inversion. I am going to actually lift this up a bit. Then I can bring this down a bit more. There we go, so you've got kind of a moderately smooth inversion. I might budge this over a bit so it's a bit of a bigger sort of inversion. For those of you that don't know, that's why we use this banking offset, because you want the heartline roll. So basically, while the train is spinning, you don't want it to spin and the track be the centre of rotation, so the train spins around it. You want the centre of rotation to be ideally where the person's chest is, which is why it's called a heartline roll. And that kind of, well, should we give it a test? I don't think the actual station dispatch speed will be fast enough, we'll see. Then it kind of comes around. Oh, it's not actually too bad. Oh, could do have been a bit faster, but yeah, that'll do. And then you want to go into a block section, and then I think this will be Gerstlauer's first attempt at a vertical launch. Just to save space, that's what I'm going for. A really small compact coaster. This might look really funny and a little bit clickbaity, but I want this coaster to be really compact. So then after that we can switch all of this back to that track type. There we go, that looks much better. So it kind of spins around. Could do with releasing from the station a bit faster. And then into the launch. And then just while we're here, if you didn't catch last week's video, I did a really quick tutorial. This only works on PC, but how you actually get the 2 meter smoothing. So what I do is I delete 4 meter track piece, add your 2 meter, so you can reduce that to 2, and then add your autocomplete. Why? I just turn those on. And then you do that obviously for all the track pieces, so you delete one of the 4 meters, add back in your 2 meter track pieces, and autocomplete the second one. Just keep going around doing that. Doesn't have to look neat because you'll smooth it afterwards, which mine definitely doesn't. And then I'm going to grab, I think, 3 pieces at once and just smooth it back and forth loads. I think we're going to go kind of traditional Gerstlauer and go straight into down to 4 meters, like kind of a top hat and then into a beyond vertical drop sort of thing. I do really like Gerstlauer's beyond vertical drops. Like I would think, well, the only beyond vertical drop I've actually done is the one on SAW, but it's as much as I don't really like the rest of the ride. Nothing against Gerstlauer, it's just really rough. It's not aged well, but the actual first drop on there is incredible. We'll see what it does when it goes over it. How's it going to react? Does it need trims? That's a good question. Roll back. 54 miles an hour. No. Okay, so we need to change that to 8, which is actually okay because Gerstlauer launches. Don't know whether you've experienced one. I haven't yet. I would love to experience what's it called? Anubis. But that launch looks insane. Like the actual acceleration of it is ridiculous. When Gerstlauer do launches, they do not mess around. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, that's a little bit too fast, but it's pretty much perfect. 40. See what I mean about how annoyingly unprecise this is? 42. I left it on 42, now we're on 40. 42. So it goes up to 42 to 46. What was if I want 44? Am I not allowed? That is still very fast. I have one track piece of trims. It's gonna look stupid though, isn't it? That looks dumb. That looks even worse. That looks bearable, but not really. No, we just can't have trims because it looks dumb. I never normally do this on these videos because I like to leave it until the end, but should we have a ride on it just to see how ridiculous it actually seems? Spoilers, you might want to skip ahead if you don't want spoilers. That needs a little bit more smoothing out. I just want to see how ridiculous the airtime is on the top. That doesn't feel too bad. What does the stats say? -1. Oh, so you don't... Yeah, it's not too bad. You're at 0 Gs there. And then at the bottom of the drop... Oh, okay, 5? Is that? Oh, it's only 5 for a little bit, that's okay, yeah. Yeah, we can deal with that. Then, after this, I think I'm going to do... what's the word? Immelman, there we go. I really do bad at remembering coaster things. Immelman, that's what we're going to do. I mean, in terms of compactness, I'd say for 2 inversions already, we're doing pretty well. I'm going to make all of that block section. I think I mentioned in the last, was it the last challenge? I can't remember, or the challenge before. If you make some parts block section, when you're smoothing over it, they will stay flat. So that's why I've done that. Let's give it a nice spam smooth, see what it looks like when it goes through. Oh, it's not going to go through actually, because it's all brakes. That was a big brain move there, wasn't it? I need more sleep. Just you have to be really careful with shaping coaster elements, because obviously these are forces that you put in onto people, and if the forces end up being a little bit off or anything, then it can lead to such an uncomfortable ride. I'm sure you'll probably know from riding older coasters that some of the transitions and forces, especially with like older, I think Vacomas and Arrows, like some of the forces you'd probably think it's a bit too intense in that spot, and if like it was made like a modern day coaster, you wouldn't really have that amount of intensity at some points. So obviously we do everything on computers now, but back then they didn't have computers to do coaster design with. So actually from here, I've got the idea in my head of I want to do a sea serpent roll, but the middle part of the inversion has a loop going around it. Showed you in, was it the SLC video, how I do custom loops? So, sure, if you've seen that video, this will just be a little refresher for you on how I do them. But I think I said in that video as well, I don't know whether the way I'm doing is right, it's just the way I've always done it, so that's what I'm rolling with. Put another piece of straight track on the end, get nearly all of the loop. We're going to have to bring it over this side, aren't we? Bring it over slightly, take a piece off, a bit more over, take a piece off. Obviously if it's not enough, you can just come back and repeat this process. Sorry train again, I keep destroying it. So definitely not spending 10 minutes off camera getting this loop right. We can go on to the next element. Okay, so I've edited the, what's it called, transition into the dive loop, so it's going the other way now, just because I have to pull it over this way for me to be able to fit the sea serpent roll going through the loop. So I think after once it's come out of this, we have probably get in a little airtime hill, and it kind of comes through here. They're kind of, the entry of them is obviously shaped the same way kind of to a cobra roll. It just, instead of going out in the opposite direction it came in, it goes out in the same direction that it came in, making it through because it's too big. But the shaping is actually alright. So if we kind of select most of the top part of it and bring that down, I mean, it's not going to be perfectly central to the loop because the loop center is about here, but the actual angle center of the sea serpent roll. Okay, so my original plan was to have some sort of element after the sea serpent roll and then bring it back into the brakes, but I thought it's not a particularly long coaster, and in terms of compactness, This bit and this bit are quite open, so what I'm going to do is, just after this, we're going to have another block break, which will do nothing speed-wise, and then it's a catwalk. We're going to have a second launch. So I want to make the ride duration of this a bit longer. Smooth that so you get your little airtime hill in the middle, and then turn into a launch. And then we are going to put in a cobra roll. I really like cobra rolls. I don't really know why, I just do really like them. Banking offset still turned on, isn't it? So it'd be quite a tight cobra roll because I want the middle of it to come through this. Better as a banana roll, wouldn't it? First time ever doing a custom banana roll, so if it goes wrong, you know why. And this second launch isn't going to be like as powerful as the first launch to get it over the top or anything. It's literally just... That's not too bad, it's just a little bit too slow. So I think the next element, I've just been having to fly around it just to see what's going to work. I think this here to fly through here will be a bit too close, especially just because of where the supports will need to be for this. Again, flying through here, that it could work to get an inversion to go over here, which is an option. It'd be like a really weirdly shaped, elongated loop. Actually, yeah, I've got an idea for that. I was originally going to do a corkscrew to bring it down to this side, but I think a corkscrew here would be way too intense, so I'll delete a bit of this, bank it ever so slightly, because I don't really want to go that much that way. What I'm thinking is we have some sort of... oh wow, it's goofy looking. We have some sort of non... Well, to be honest, I don't really care if it is non-inverting or not. It doesn't really have to be. Oh, that'll be a nice head chopper coming through there if it makes it. This is what it was like when they were designing the Smiler. It was just an absolute mess of track on whatever, it was probably NoTrackLimits what they designed in. A complete mess of track like this. And they were just like, yeah, that'd work, let's do that. So my game did unfortunately crash again, but here we are. I think since then I made this non-inversing loop, I think, but I've added this turnaround here because I was kind of at a point here where I thought it can't really go forwards or through here because there's not enough room in the slightest. It couldn't really go through here it couldn't really go through here on the low part, just as how close it would be to the two sides of the track and launch and this bit and this bit and this bit. There's too much going on. And then I was going to put a corkscrew to bring it to this left part here, but a corkscrew just after that height of a 90 meter drop would be way too forceful, so brought it back up here, and then I thought we can have a second vertical drop, which I thought could be quite cool. But I think... yeah, so I've added the block section just before it, and you can see it goes up into it, slows down, and then comes back down. So... I mean, that doesn't work too badly, which is quite good. On the last section of the ride now, so we've got the block break and the drop in, and then somehow I need to get it back to the station. So I'm thinking, I don't know whether we should do some sort of like, I don't know, do we do like an Immelman sort of stall thing? I mean, we've already got an Immelman and a dive loop. Speaking of the dive loop, I was thinking, just to make this coaster more compact and kind of have like the starting point here where the cursor is, do I just remove this airtime hill and then just have it so that this goes straight into the dive loop like that? I don't know, I'm unsure. I might go back and change that though. You'll obviously see when the cinematics go, but here we need to decide what we're doing. I think I will do an Immelman, but like, what's it called? A junior Immelman, where it like comes out on the top. I think that would be quite cool. So we don't really want it to be too much longer from here. It's annoying because that says magnetic brakes, and those are not magnetic brakes. The game lies. It's a very sudden slowing down, isn't it? Just coming straight from that element into it. I mean, it's doable, and the block section is in the right place as well, so that even if it does get held there, then it will still probably make the block section. coaster's now completed, pretty much. I'm really happy with this. This has been a really fun challenge to do. I still might change this part here so that it doesn't have the airtime hill and just goes straight into the Immelmann, because this bit sticks out quite a lot. And in terms of the compactness, which is all kind of this section, this just kind of sticks out. Yeah, I'm going to change that. I'll show you it afterwards. There we go, the coaster is complete. So I've added the junior Immelmann in the end. I did have a go at creating this into the inversion, kind of going this way and then banking round in a helix to connect here, but there just wasn't enough room. So in terms of compactness, I've removed the airtime hill and then built this actually back into it. But I just thought that in terms of steepness, like, you still would have room for this airtime hill. So I've reduced this inside a little bit and moved it quite a bit closer, because before it stuck out to about here, but now it's all the way back here, so it's a bit more compact. As you can see from the overhead view, it still fits in a like nice compact square. But yeah, I'm really happy with this coaster. It's gone really well, this challenge. I've enjoyed it. I think I'll definitely do a coaster like this for a park at some point, like a really compact coaster. They just make you so much more creative while you're designing it. Like, especially some of these inversions and transitions. I would have never thought for a coaster for like my main park series to have like a banana roll inside an Immelmann and all sorts, and then a sea serpent roll going through a loop. And I mean, look how close they get. It's insane. So now I've got the very big task of custom supporting the entire thing, which I'm sure will take a long time. It will be very complicated, but I'm going to do it. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this challenge video. I will see you next week in whatever video that is. Thanks for watching.